Hi everyone, my name is Janelle Pierce. I wanted to share with you a supernatural experience I had while doing EMDR therapy. I will go into more what EMDR therapy is in a little bit later, but in my hopes of sharing my story, I wanted to help someone else that may be going through something similar that I went through. So I hope this helps. Anyways, about a couple years ago, I went through a traumatic event. It was a really bad traumatic event, and I ended up getting PTSD. I didn't know what PTSD was, so all I knew was I wasn't acting myself. I wasn't feeling like myself, and I had really bad depression, really bad anxiety, really bad panic attacks. I stopped eating. All I wanted to do was lay in bed, and I didn't want to hang around my family or my friends. I never was on my phone. I didn't want to go shopping. It felt like a part of me died. It really, really scared me, and so I wanted to go get help because I knew I had to get help. So my husband took me to the doctor, and she diagnosed me with PTSD. So like I said, I didn't know what that was. I know war veterans come home and they have PTSD. So I wanted to get it fixed in any way because I wanted to get better. So she told me to go to a therapist, and I called the therapist, and they're like, well, do you want to go to an EMDR therapist or a talk therapist? I'm like, well, what's EMDR therapy? And EMDR therapy is, she told me it's eye movement therapy, and your brain reprocesses things back to itself. So I'm like, sure, let's do that. I have nothing to lose, and I wanted to get better, and I didn't really think talk therapy was for me, so I just chose EMDR therapy. So after seeing my EMDR therapist for a while, she helped me out tremendously. So basically, what EMDR therapy is, before I go into my story, I'm going to read it right off of the website, what EMDR therapy is. It's basically eye movement desensitization and reprocessing. EMDR therapy is an interactive therapy technique used to relieve stress. It is an effective treatment for trauma and post-traumatic stress disorders such as PTSD. So I'm like, great, I'm in the right place. Let's get this fixed. So it wasn't easy at first. It was not easy. Once you start, basically, you hold on to buzzers and you look back and forth at these. Your eyes move back and forth while holding on to buzzers, and you focus on whatever the problem is, whatever the issue is that's bothering you. So I had to focus. Sorry, I had to focus on the traumatic event that happened to me, and while doing that, it feels like you're basically in the situation at the same time. It's so weird, but once you start focusing on all the things and reprocessing everything back to itself, it gets way better, and it's just an amazing therapy. So after about probably a year, I was basically back to myself. I didn't have any panic attacks anymore. I didn't have any depression. I could drive again. Like, I had so much anxiety I couldn't even drive. And I loved hanging around my family and my friends again. It basically got my life back, and it was just amazing. So EMDR therapy is just an amazing technique to basically, it's another way to get you back on your feet and get you well again. So I'm so glad I found EMDR therapy, and I know not many people know about EMDR therapy, so I wanted to share with all you if anyone is going through any type of depression, anxiety, any type of disorder, PTSD, whatever. It really helps. I recommend going to see an EMDR therapist. So moving on to my supernatural experience, when I was 15, I had another traumatic event, and my brother died in a small plane crash. He was flying with his uncle. He wanted to learn how to fly, so he was doing that while all of his other family, we were celebrating at the church picnic. So we were all having fun at the church picnic, and we get a call stating that a small plane went down. So we all went to the accident site, and it was not fun. It was not fun to see that. It was very, very traumatic, and it just tore us apart. It was horrible. It was just a horrible, horrible thing to happen. And after realizing that I didn't reprocess things right when I was 15, because I went, after finding EMDR therapy, I knew I had to go back and reprocess things. So, plus I started a new business, and we fly now. We fly a lot, and I haven't been on a plane since the day my brother died. So it was really, really, really hard for me to get back on a plane, even though it was a bigger plane. I had like the worst panic attacks ever. I just started immediately bawling, and it sucked. It really sucked. And I told my husband, I'm like, I don't know how I'm gonna fly for 4 hours when I can't hardly breathe. But he walked me through, and he was just he's an amazing husband. So anyways, I went back and did EMDR therapy, and I reprocessed all of the memories that weren't processed in the right way. I had to reprocess everything back. So while I was doing EMDR therapy, you hold on to buzzers, and in this case with my brother and the plane, I was focusing on the plane, and I thought it had to do with the plane. So once I started focusing on the plane, it kicked me out of that memory, and it put me to the memory where he died, and I had to basically reprocess every single step that happened that day. And I already went through it once, and I did not want to do it again. It was really, really hard for me. So I kept going. My therapist said that you can do this, you're a strong person, and so I just kept going. So it jumped me from memory to memory. We were first talking outside in the front yard with me and my brother, and then it jumped me to another memory I had to reprocess, and it was we were all at the church picnic, and he was flying, and then it jumped me to another memory of us. We were at the funeral home, and we saw everyone standing in line and saying their goodbyes. And at that point, I stopped doing EMDR, and I'm like, I can't go on anymore, Brenda. I just can't do this. It's just really, really hard for me to see this all again, and to just reprocess everything again is just too hard. And she's like, Janelle, you're the strongest person I know. You got this. You have to go through the tunnel to get to the other side. And then another one of my mentors I thought about while I was doing this is he always said every adversity has a benefit if you look for it. I don't know what the benefit was at that point. I honestly didn't, but I'm like, well, there's a benefit here, so let's just keep looking for it. So I started doing EMDR therapy again, and I picked up the buzzers, and at that point, the room got really, really cold. I was shivering to death. It felt like it was 50 degrees in the room, and I asked my therapist, I'm like, is it really cold in here? And she's like, no, it's not cold in here at all. So I thought that was weird, and at that point, an amazing thing happened to me. I was in heaven, and it was amazing. Like, it was peaceful. There was a ton of flowers. There was a ton of flowers, a ton of trees. I could see myself standing right there at this very second. Um, there's I could feel the breeze. I could smell the fresh air. It was just so, the grass was so greener than the grass here on earth. It was just so beautiful and so perfect there. And I just felt so at peace there. Like there is nothing I was worried about or anything. It was just peaceful. So I look over I look over and my brother is standing there. My brother is standing there. He's wearing a white robe and he's standing next to Jesus. And it was he looked breathtaking. He looked amazing. He um he he looked a little bit more mature than he did the day he died. But he just looked beautiful and perfect. And he talked to me. He's like, Janelle, everything is okay. I'm here with Jesus. And I got I got goosebumps. I didn't know what just happened, and I knew I was in heaven, but it was just fun. It was just crazy, and it was just amazing, and just he was just amazing and breathtaking. And um, I put down the buzzers, and I thank God every day for him that he granted me that vision, because my life has changed ever since that day. It has. I don't look at life the same as I do now. Once you have something like that happen to you, it's just not the same. You're more at peace with everything. You don't worry about much. You don't worry about things here and there. You let the little things go. Like it's just so amazing. And um, and so I put the buzzers down and I told my therapist what just happened, and she got goosebumps so much. She sat over on the couch with me and we just cried like happy tears, and it was just amazing, and it was just wonderful. And like I said, I just I'm just so thankful. I'm just so blessed that God granted me that vision of my brother. And I just wanted to share my story with all of you. And if another thing that actually helped me get through my PTSD was listening to Rachel Hollis' Girl Wash Your Face. It's an amazing book. I recommend everyone read it because it's just a great book. You'll it And then another thing I wanted to say is if anyone is suffering from depression or anxiety or panic attacks or PTSD, just try EMDR therapy. I didn't know it was gonna work for me, but I had nothing to lose, and so yeah, it just feels amazing to get your life back and to get back to your normal self again. And yeah, and thank you so much for listening to my story, and I hope this helps anyone that is struggling through anything. So, all right, have a wonderful day. Bye.